People, this is Niger Commando Storytelling Challenge Day 30, and this is wonderful. Thank you for following. Thank you for asking me about my book. Niger Commando is going to be out very soon. Good news, in the next few weeks, and we're all going to celebrate the launch of this book. So today's story is titled "It Costs Nothing to Dream." Command Secondary School, Jos, 1990. I was in JS1. Sometimes we'd be very hungry. JS1 boys now. We didn't have enough food. Provisions were finished, and so no food. Sometimes we didn't have options apart from dining food. And if you miss dining food, in my book you are going to read about things we call slamming, action, punking, striking. You read about all those terms in my book Niger Commando. So because of all those activities now, sometimes some of us wouldn't have food and would be very hungry, growing children. And so one night prep, I still remember this book, Integrated Science. We had an integrated science textbook, GS1. I was in GS1 map, but I still remember where I was sitting, somewhere close to the second to the last row at the back. And I opened my integrated science textbook. There's this chapter about classes of food, and so there were different kinds of food on display. So just the basic food. So you see protein, you see carbohydrates. And you know what I did? Night prep. Our night prep we usually run from maybe about 7 to 10, about 2 to 3 hours. Now I can't really remember how many hours now. So what I did that night, I decided to dream about the classes of food. So I'll take one particular food and begin to imagine all the things that could come out of that food. So if I take beans, for instance, I begin to imagine things like moi moi. I begin to imagine things like beans, cooked beans. I begin to imagine things like akara that you make out of it. If I take maize, for instance, corn, I begin to think of all the things you could do with corn, boiled corn, roasted corn. If I take yam, I think of cooked yam, boiled yam, I think of roasted yam, I think of pounded yam. My brothers and sisters, that night prep, I broke that record. I've never done that again in my life, and I don't know if any other human being on earth has successfully done that. They should consider me for the Guinness Book of World Records. So I sat down there while others were reading, thinking about their lives, planning for their future, and I began to think, concentrate. I was focused, dreaming about the kind of foods that could come out of those basic foods. Meat, oh my goodness, fried meat, boiled meat, cooked, any kind of meat, roasted meat, suya, all of them. And then I was there until the bell went off for end of prep, and I shut my book and I went back to the hostel like every other person to sleep. Now that's humorous, right? What can we learn from this? It really costs nothing to dream. I didn't have a hold on those foods. I couldn't get a hold on them at that time. But I decided to dream. I decided to imagine. I decided to use what God had given me for free. And it made me feel good, honestly. Even though I had not eaten the food that I felt good. I felt good. I felt accomplished. And I want us to begin to use our memory for better things. There's a place you want to be, and you cannot go to a place you have not seen. God asked Abraham, said, "What do you see? Look around you." He looked to the north, to the south, to the west. What do you see? And he began to see beyond. He saw the advance. See, whatever you see, I give to you. I give to you this land as a possession. God always wants you to see first in your mind's eye. He wants you to see it in your heart. He wants you to see it first in your spirit before he gives it to you. You cannot possess what you have not seen. Which is why before the spies conquered the land, before the Israelites conquered the land, spies were sent out. Remember the story of the 12 spies that were sent to spy out the land. And then you have Caleb and Joshua. You had the most of them saying that the people of their land were as big as giants. But you had Caleb and Joshua coming through and saying they could go on and possess the land. So what we're saying is they had to go see it first. You can't take possession of a land you have not seen in your mind's eye. And I need us to please get it today. It costs you nothing to dream. So you don't have money now, Abi. You don't have money for transport to go from location A to location B within the same town. But you can dream of yourself going to far lands. You can dream of yourself traveling, flying first class, flying whatever class. You can dream of yourself on that boat cruise. You can dream of yourself in that ship. Dream of yourself in that train. Dream of yourself in that plane. It costs you nothing to dream. All you need to do is to shut your eyes and say, I see myself there. You cannot afford to even feed well. But you can dream. You can dream. You can desire bigger things. I want to leave you with that challenge today. Please don't limit yourself by the present situation you are facing. Decide to look beyond where you are right now. Decide to see in your mind's eye victory, to see in your mind's eye somebody that has achieved great things. You might not be there today, but if you see it in your mind's eye, I'm telling you, you will achieve it. You were born for greatness. You were born for excellence. You were not born to be small. God told Jeremiah, he said, before you were born, I had ordained you to be a prophet. I had ordained you. So don't limit yourself. I want to leave that with you today, everybody. Please remember to like, remember to comment, remember to share. Let me know your thoughts from what you've heard today, okay? Any lessons you want us to learn, anything you want us to share, please drop it in the comment section. I'll see you tomorrow on day 31 of Naija Commando Storytelling Challenge. My name is Dr. Mike O. Wangwa. Bye-bye. God bless you.